Hi, folks. This is Rosie at Always Rosie's Life. Today, I had to go out of town, and when I was on my way home, I decided to stop in at a little store in Vermont that I go to every now and then, but it's always fun to go. It's called the Free Store, and it actually is a free store. People are invited to drop off clothing and household items that they no longer need. And the group of volunteers that work at the free store make sure it's good and clean, everything's washed. They wash it if it needs to be washed, and then they hang it up, and you're allowed to take a certain amount of items out every time you visit, but with a maximum amount every month. And I haven't been there very often, so I didn't really have to worry about being over my amount. I think I picked up a tablecloth a couple months ago, and that was the last time I'd been in there. But it's always fun to go in there. Every time you go in, it's new. It's new to you, and you never know what you're going to find in there. And today I found a kitchen garbage can with a lid, with one of those swing lids on it. And I have gone for, I think, 4 years with just a really, really small um, basically a waste paper basket in my kitchen with no lid. So I was kind of excited, stupidly excited, to find a waste paper basket or a kitchen garbage can with a lid on it, and walked out of there for free. So I didn't have to spend anything for it. All I had to do was just wait for the right time for it to show up. But while I was there too, I looked through the cookbooks because I thought, maybe I could get a couple of ideas about cooking for one. And they didn't have any specific cookbooks, cooking for one, but I leafed through a couple of them to get some ideas, because the other day I had gone to a soup kitchen in my area, and the soup kitchen actually has a shelf of groceries that come from the local grocery stores. If they have fruit that's bruised, or something that's close to the expiration date but not expired, you can go in there and basically grocery shop. And it doesn't matter whether you're a millionaire or whether you're living under the bridge. They don't care. It's a matter of not wasting food. So I picked up a rutabaga and a couple of apples and I think a loaf of bread, and came home with that. So, I added that to my little stash, and the rutabaga will go along with the potatoes that I've already purchased, and make some sort of soup. But anyway, I was looking at the cookbooks and didn't leave with any, but I started on my way home. I started thinking about the cookbook that I have kept for a long, long time. And that is the cookbook that my mother gave me in 1976. She gave it to me, and wrote a little bit in the front. And as you can see, this cookbook has been used over and over and over again. And some of the pages are pretty darn gross. They really are. But this cookbook, I think I might have been 17. And this cookbook helped me so much when I was younger. But along with that, mom told me something that has also stuck with me that I want to share. She said that when you become an adult, which, at that point I was 17 or 16, something like that, she said, learn to make two main meals really, really well. So well that people connect that meal to you. And that could be um, uh, a marinara sauce, or pulled pork, or mac and cheese. But she said, learn to make two meals really well, and make two desserts really well. And she said, if your two meals are what she called stretchy meals, which means meals that you eat once and then you eat many other times in different types of versions, uh, then you can feed a family and you don't have to worry about um, creating new meals all the time. That your shopping trips are easy and your family is satisfied, and then you can learn as you go. And I've always remembered that, come up with two meals that you can really do really well. And let's take marinara sauce for instance. Everybody, especially big households, they all have their own recipes for um, spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce. But no matter how you make it, there's always some leftover. And you can take that marinara sauce and you can make it into lasagna, or you can make it into just leftover pasta and sauce, or you can cover meatballs with it and make meatball sandwiches. So there's all sorts of things that you can do with it. And she also said, learn to make two desserts. And this way you can round off your meals. Now, my mother was so creative. And with five kids at home, we didn't always have dessert. And now, as an adult, I don't always have dessert. But in my memory, I remember the ones that stand out. My mother was a fabulous baker, but sometimes our desserts were leftover desserts from other days. And she would put all of these desserts out on a plate, on a serving plate, and she would number them. And then she would have us pick numbers out of a hat. And the number that corresponded to the dessert was the dessert that we had for that evening. And we always had a minute or so afterwards, once everybody got their dessert, to make a trade. And my dad was he was the biggest trader of all of us. He would make deals and trade back and forth until we were all laughing so hard that we didn't really care what kind of dessert we had. And then other desserts were a couple of candy bars, and she cut them up into fifths, and we would each get a fifth of the candy bar. And that was enough. And now, I mean, it sounds really odd, but back then it was a real treat to get a little piece of a candy bar back in the day. But I learned how to make two meals really well, and I learned how to make two desserts really well. And my two desserts were uh, butternut squash pie, and I make a really mean fruit crisp. And I still can do that. And every time I make the crisp, or um, I pull out this old cookbook to look for something in it, I think of my mother, and I'm really grateful that she was smart and frugal and raised her kids to know how to squeeze a nickel and tell the buffalo yelled. So I hope that was helpful. Figure out what your two meals are and your two desserts are, and you're well on your way to having a week's worth of meals on a budget. You take care and you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.